I think, I don't know your name, I'm sorry. Carl made a point as far as participatory, people who are open to discuss what they want to do moving forward with anything, you know what I mean? But the best way to discussion and argument,
Like this?
kind of like, yeah, a little bit, yeah, it can get that way. But at this point, the way I understand it, as we agreed earlier, this is now just open conversation, but not a formal GA. And I do urge every individual location to get, if you don't have a strong facilitator yet, get one. If you don't know what that means, go to newyorkga.net. There are documents there to help. There are videos to help online. But find out what it takes to get proper process for a GA to run. Get a strong communicator to facilitate it for your individual group, and that helps you in your locale, your hamlet, your town, to get all on the same page with your agendas. And then meeting once a month as Long Island as a whole just furthers that agenda. And then, you know, Long Island as a whole can take it from there with the proper facilitator.
It just seems like this is soapbox.
At this point, this is kind of soapbox. You know, everybody's just kind of talking and chatting, but without an official GA,
Right.
which we don't have right now because there's no facilitation going on, it doesn't really, you know, there's no vote to take. In the corner?
I agree. And I think it's important that we remember that this is the first meeting. This is a place where we're coming together to meet each other, to see faces, connect names, do those kinds of things. An official GA, as was very clearly described, is where, you know, people who show up and are willing to facilitate and take those steps, put together the agenda.
And how does it, I'm not familiar with this process at all. How does this agenda then get put together?
Well, I just want to, I'll answer that if I can, and I just want to say as a point of information before that, that the official things that were agreed upon today, which are the first steps that really needed to happen for Occupy Long Island as a whole, was that Ty from Occupy the Hamptons is going to put together an individual Occupy Long Island, all spelled out, .org, so that everyone has a single point of communication for the island as a whole. On there, she's going to have a calendar that everybody will have direct access to, so the individual towns will be able to update their events so that everyone can coordinate rather than, you know, unknowingly have conflicting events, so that everybody can support everybody, right? And the other important agenda item for today was what happens next for the Long Island meeting, which is the last Saturday of each month, and the location. The next location's been chosen by consensus. The information, if you didn't take it down earlier, will be posted on the site within this week so that you'll have it well before the meeting comes. It is in Bohemia. I don't have the exact address on me. If you didn't write it down,
It'll be on the
website. Long Island communications are consolidating, and that was really the first step, the most important step that I think we accomplished in this meeting. I think we should all really feel good about that. I'm sorry I was rambling, but your question was proper facilitation?
No, about how does something actually get on the agenda?
Great. Every location, and I can't dictate what each location does, but in general how it works is that each location has a facilitator working group. Just like all working groups, every single working group is open to the public. It's not exclusive. If you're part of Occupy Patchogue, and there's an Occupy Patchogue facilitators working group, then the information for when the facilitators set the agenda, they're trusted to do so because they're involved with the Occupy group there, so they know what's coming up. They know what's coming up with all the working groups. The idea is that there are many working groups going on at any time. Anyone can set one up. You don't need permission. Don't ask for permission. Ask for forgiveness. That means take action, explain it, and if people have a problem with it, you can deal with that later. You know, we are all leaders. Move forward. So the idea is whatever your particular location has a need for or a desire to accomplish, you can create a working group. Do it. Start a working group, post it online, get people to come. If nobody shows up, well, then it's not a working group. It's a working person, and that's fine too. You can still take action forward for that. you can bring that to the GA, and this is how it generally works, is in the early part of the
Mic
meeting.
check.
Mic check.
Sorry, there's too many side conversations, nobody can hear.
I'll wrap this up real quick and then we'll move forward. In the early part of the meeting, a good facilitator will run down what all the hand signals mean. This is wrap up, and I'm going to do that, I promise. So that everybody can learn what the most effective process of communication in a GA setting is. It's very parliamentary, which means it's very alien to most people. So it's important to have a good facilitator. When you have a good facilitator, they start every meeting by teaching people how we're communicating without interrupting the agenda items and the proper parliamentary aspects of the meeting, right? So they run down that first, then they run down the already agreed they run down announcements so that all the working groups come up. There's somebody else separate from the facilitator taking stack. It's somebody from the facilitation group taking stack, so that people who have announcements to make from each individual working group comes up, has 2 minutes to make their announcement. Always try to include a point of contact for your working group in your announcement. Get that in there, or it might be otherwise useless. Then you run into the already agreed upon agenda items, and they keep it very tight. Everybody can get on stack, topic to topic, and you run down the stack until everybody's had a fair amount of time to talk. How they do it in the city and most other places have adopted is a progressive stack, which means women and minorities on the stack go to the top of the list. Everybody gets a fair amount of time to speak. Everybody gets to speak, but that's what they call progressive stack.
Do you guys still do timekeeper?
There should be a timekeeper to make sure nobody's taking more time than is needed. I mean, generally a report back for a working group should take about 2 minutes. Let people know what you're working on, what you need help with, get people involved, etc. Point of contact is important, the most important thing, and then you move forward. You announce any direct actions coming up, you announce anything you need to from your working group. Within 2 minutes you can do that. A timekeeper will let you know when your time is up. Mine is expired long ago. I'll wrap up. I already said that. Any other, did that answer? Okay, good.
I have to leave pretty soon, but me and Chucky, we came out from Belport. We're with the Eastern Farm Workers Association.
Right.
And we're doing a winter survival campaign and annual Super Bowl Sunday tamale benefit. So if people want to get orders, I'll leave a few leaflets behind. Give us a ring, and we'll be at the next meeting.
Oh, no. Just after you. Can we put it on our website?
Yeah, we want a flyer.
You can do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For many people, because you have to step up and take action, and with that comes the personal responsibility of, if I want to get this done, I have to make it happen. And I'm very sorry that I interrupted you. I didn't mean to shut you down, and I understand how frustrating that can be, because it happens to me. I talk, but step up, and that's one of the things I've been trying to teach my 15-year-old son. Step up.
I have we're running out of time, and I have a wonderful musician here who has come to play his own protest song. Maybe 1 or 2 songs. Would anybody?
And more to the point, to offer his services to any Occupy Free who has an event.
She's fantastic. Wait till you hear her.
Shall
we?
Temperature check on proceeding with music?
I just have one thing to add.
One last thing?
Have one thing to add to before.
2 last things?
One thing, I don't think we have any agenda, way of developing agenda items for our next meeting, right? Do
We just
have-
explained that we do. Facilitated.
I just want to announce again that about the Occupy storefront. Just want to kind of make it clear what it's about.